Mr. Prime Minister, I feel very happy to have a chance to make interview with you. This time you came to Shanghai for New Zealand National Pavilion Day at the Shanghai Expo. Now, how important is the Shanghai Expo to New Zealand?
Well, it's critically important to New Zealand because we're going to have 70 million people going through the Expo over the next 6 months and around about 7 million going through the New Zealand Pavilion. Putting that in perspective, we only have 4.5 million people in New Zealand, so it's nearly double the population, and it's a great opportunity for us to show the people who are going through our expo just a little bit of what New Zealand is like, our wine, our food and our culture, and hopefully that will encourage them to buy products from New Zealand or come down and pay us a visit.
Now, I think this is your second trip to Shanghai. Is there any change of your impression to our city?
I love the place. It's a real fusion, I think, between the culture of Europe, where, particularly where we've been staying, it's sort of French Quarters. So it looks a little bit like Europe to me, but it's got the vibrancy and that feel of Asia. And you know, as the commercial capital, there's always things happening here. So with the river and obviously the architecture you have, it really is a wonderful place. And I've only just arrived, but when we were here last year, we went out and had a couple of fabulous meals. So looking forward to getting to know Shanghai a little bit better.
在高科技林立、LED 超大屏炫目的世博各场馆中，新西兰馆特立独行地拿出了一排纯净的自然风光，让劳顿的游客得以凝神喘息。作为镇馆之宝，入口处的天然大玉石游人必摸，沾点好运。而另一件宝贝，每天都吸引无数镜头驻足。这个叫做种子的巨型独木舟，是新西兰毛利人文化的象征。9名来自本国的工匠每天在此雕琢上色，等待它完工，开启出航的时刻。
Now, the treasure of New Zealand Pavilion is Te Kakano,
right.
A very precious art which is carved by a Māori artist.
Yeah.
Now, could you please tell us why you choose this kind of piece of art to be a very important exhibit in Shanghai Expo?
Yeah. Well, firstly, the Māori culture is the indigenous culture of New Zealand. So they first settled New Zealand hundreds and hundreds of years ago, and before the settlers came from Europe. So they came in what was called a waka, or a canoe, or a ship, that sort of thing. So the waka is very important to the Māori people because that's how they trace their roots or their history, if you like. And so the waharoa is that sense of their waka, how they came to New Zealand and their being, if you like. So it has great significance, and it was carved at Te Puia, which is a very famous carving school in the middle of New Zealand. And in fact, the Chinese ambassador to New Zealand, Jiang Zemin, he came in and carved a piece, and I carved a little bit with him.
So it is said that this art is combines some Chinese elements, hasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Mr. Zhang has definitely carved away, and he looked to be a better carver than I was, so it's definitely got a Chinese influence to it.
I think the culture of Māori people is guardianship and hospitality. So can these 2 points represent the New Zealand's attitude towards the world as a country?
Yeah, I believe so. I mean, they're very friendly. They're quite entrepreneurial people. And are proving to be very successful, and as our indigenous culture, we're very proud of them. We have quite a big Maori population. It's 15% of the overall population. So if you compare that to, say, Australia, where their indigenous people, the Aboriginals, are only about 1%. So they're considerably larger, and a growing part of the population base, actually, their birth rates are higher than European birth rates. So yeah, they're doing very well, and they have great stories to tell, and the culture is is fused in amongst the New Zealand culture in a total way.
1901年，当现代工业刚刚起步，人们对旅游的概念仅仅停留在旅行的阶段，新西兰就具有前瞻性的成立了世界上第一个国家旅游局。100多年来，旅游已经成为该国的支柱产业之一。作为特色，约翰基当选内阁总理的同时，还兼任国家旅游部部长的职务，向全世界大力推广新西兰的休闲文化。
As Prime Minister, you also take a role of tourism minister, which is very rare in the international political stage. I think, does it indicate a special mission, say, to develop tourism as a pillar industry in your country?
It does. We want everyone to come to New Zealand, not all at the same time because it'll be a little bit busy, but look, we see ourselves as having a wonderful country. It's clean and it's green, it's safe. It's very beautiful, has tremendous scenery, has lots of different stories. It has the ability to deliver all sorts of different opportunities for people, adventure tourism, to a very sedate, nice sort of bus trip through the countryside with lots of unique experiences. And for us, it's a very big part of our economy. It's 1 in 10 jobs, so 10% of people are employed there. And it's a big export earner for New Zealand. So we'd love people to come and fly down and pay us a visit.
New Zealand's tourism brand, 100% Pure New Zealand, has celebrated its 10th birthday in 2009. So it tells us leisure activity as tourism can be also can be a brand. Now, can you tell us, in the past years, has New Zealand indeed experienced a double benefit in terms of culture and economy?
Absolutely. I mean, the culture is an important part of the economy and an important part of the tourism offering. And for a lot of people, our most famous sporting team is our rugby team, and so they get to experience a little bit of that Māori culture if they watch the All Blacks doing their famous war dance, which they do before a game, called the haka, which is traces its roots back to when the Māori tribes used to sometimes go into acts of war against each other. So you had to face that haka whether you were friend or foe. And certainly the culture is a very important part of, you know, the reason why people come to visit. It's unique, it's something new, it's something you can't experience anywhere else in the world.
China now is New Zealand's 4th largest tourism market. We noticed that the New Zealand government seem to be more and more open to China in terms of tourism. Apart from the healthy relationship between two countries and the large amount population in China, do you think what attract Chinese tourists the most?
Yeah. Well, firstly, we've been quite lucky. I mean, we've had a very strong relationship with China right back to 1972. And New Zealand's been a country which has established a number of firsts with China. We were one of the first countries in the world to, or the first country to actually acknowledge China as a market-based economy. So we've had a number of firsts right through to the first free trade agreement signed between a developed country and with China. So that's been very good. In terms of tourism, you're absolutely right. We were lucky in 1999, China approved us as an approved destination status. And in fact, even in my most recent visit to China, Premier Wen has expressed a desire to see more Chinese come and visit New Zealand. So we can't get a better endorsement than the Premier of China telling the citizens to come and pay us a visit. And we think there's just a lot of things to do there, everything from experiencing food or just our scenery or getting a sense of what Kiwi life is like, our laid-back and friendly culture. And the other thing I think that makes New Zealand slightly interesting is we have around about 250,000 Chinese living in New Zealand. So the language, Chinese language is spoken fluently in New Zealand. Most Chinese visitors would feel at home there. We're relatively speaking safe. So again, in all probability, people will have a good experience there, and something that's very different from probably what they see in China. It's a number of reasons. We educate a lot of young Chinese people, so export education where they come and study at our universities or schools. That's a big earner for New Zealand. We're also encouraging those that study in New Zealand to consider staying permanently. So we're seeing quite a move there for Chinese students doing their law degree or their accounting or medical degree and then staying in New Zealand. And in fact, we have we as a political party had the first Chinese member of parliament. So we're doing pretty well. And we've actually had the first Korean member of parliament actually as well.
Now, we saw a photo that was taken when you were in the South Pole in 2007.
Yeah.
What was the important experience from that trip?
Yeah, just to get a sense of Antarctica. We have a big role to play in Antarctica. New Zealand is one of the signatories to the treaty down there, so we're there committed to preserving the health and environmental benefits of the South Pole. Our base is actually quite close, in fact, very, very close to the American base. So we're at Scott Base and they're at McMurdo. We're about a 3-minute drive away. And I went down at that point as leader of the opposition just to see and experience Antarctica for myself. I got stuck down there actually. The weather was bad, so I had about a week down there and had a wonderful time. I'm thinking about going back later on this year.
2001年，电影《魔戒》开启史上最高票房电影的大幕。《魔戒3部曲》所创造的中土世界，不仅令时代华纳公司大赚一笔，作为整部系列外景地的新西兰也着实从中得利。彼得·杰克逊用他的艺术和商业头脑，为自己的祖国做了一次巨型广告。此后，《纳尼亚传奇》《金刚》美剧《探索者传说》等等，均以新西兰为首选外景地，这里成为了传奇电影的最佳背景。
Speaking of New Zealand, people will easily pick up some keywords such as immense land, groups of flocks and herds, high-quality milk powder, and lots of rings. I think New Zealand has successfully taken advantage of films to promote its image and its tourism.
Yeah, I think we realised at the time that it would have a big benefit in terms of exposing New Zealand to a very worldwide audience. And funnily enough, if you talk to Time Warner, the big film manufacturers, they'll tell you that of the top 10 movies that Time Warner's produced in the world, 3 of them have come from New Zealand in the form of Lord of the Rings. So a lot of people know New Zealand as Middle Earth or have a sense of our scenery and have come down to experience that firsthand. So there's no question that our scenery and the fact that it's in so many movies helps us. And in fact, interestingly enough, a lot of the Indian movies these days, increasingly Bollywood is making Indian movies in the New Zealand sets because it's very beautiful and quite cheap actually, relatively speaking, cost-efficient place to make a movie.
We have noticed that many famous movies have become free advertising for New Zealand.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Yeah, I mean, a lot of because we haven't necessarily needed to do that. We have done a couple of things. Peter Jackson, of course, who's the famous producer of Lord of the Rings and so many other movies, Hobbit and King Kong. He has set up a very, very world-class sound studio and production studio, but world-class sound studio in Wellington. We've been in the process of establishing some specialist film sets and studios in Auckland, and we're looking actually at potentially doing another film set actually in Queenstown. So we're starting to develop that side of the industry, but there's quite a lot of support there for someone that wants to make a movie.
Since establishment of Sino-New Zealand relationship, 2 countries have maintained good relations and stable economic cooperation. Now, China's Vice President, Mr. Xi Jinping, has paid a visit to New Zealand and met with you. Looking into the future, do you hold an optimistic attitude towards the mutual development of New Zealand and China?
Yeah, we are hugely optimistic about our relationship with China. So, but partly because of the historical roots that we have in terms of those 4 firsts, partly because there's a lot of synergy between the Chinese economy and the New Zealand economy. So we produce a lot of the products that China wants to purchase, very high quality and very safe food. So explosion in the demand for protein-based products, particularly dairy products and beef. Increasingly wine is becoming very attractive here. So is our horticultural products, kiwi fruit obviously very well known here, forestry products in the form of logs, but then a lot of quite high-tech development happening around science and computing and the like. So two-way trade last year in New Zealand dollars was 10 billion. We've agreed with the Vice President Xi and also with the Premier and the President to try and double that to 20 billion in 5 years. I think that's quite achievable. And I think we are going to see an even deepening of the relationship between China and New Zealand. So you're now our second largest market, very, very important market from New Zealand's perspective. Only Australia is bigger.
Now, you just mentioned the kiwi fruit. I think kiwi fruit is a very special bond between the New Zealand and China. We know kiwi fruit is originated in China, but it was called the Chinese gooseberry when they exported it to New Zealand. So do you find it's a very interesting bond?
It is an interesting bond, yeah. Yeah, it is very much so. And well, I guess it's a sense of the history. And Chinese immigrants came to New Zealand hundreds of years ago. They've been long-term migrants to New Zealand. We've had some very famous New Zealanders living in China, Riwi Ali being the most obvious, listed as one of the 10 great friends of China. So, I think we're, as two countries, in tremendous shape, and that relationship will only get closer as more and more of our citizens either come and live in China or Chinese citizens live in New Zealand, and we build those people-to-people links as well as the great trade and cultural links that we enjoy.
Yeah, kiwi fruit is my son's favorite.
Really? Does he eat the gold or the green, or he likes both? The gold is very popular.
Yeah. We noticed among your members of cabinet there is a Chinese face, Mrs. Pansy Wang.
Yeah.
And what do you think of the Chinese will join in your cabinet?
Well, we love having Pansy as part of our team. She's the first, not only the first Chinese member of the New Zealand Parliament, but the first Chinese cabinet minister in New Zealand's history. And that's a reflection on both her ability and skill, but also the fact that there's a very large Chinese population in New Zealand, and they're playing an increasingly important role in our economy and in our development as a country. So from that perspective, yes, she's very important, and she's already had a good history, and I'm sure that'll continue.
She was born in Shanghai.
So she loves Shanghai.
So which made us feel much close.
Yeah.
Now, are you happy with your cooperation with her?
Indeed, very much so. We're very lucky.
约翰基2008年当选新西兰总理，当年才47岁，是少壮派的代表。媒体面前的他充满活力，总是以年轻态的笑容出现在每一个场合。作为一个亲民的领导人，他愿意和大家分享自己甜蜜的婚恋和家庭故事。他是运动强人，尤其喜爱新西兰国家运动橄榄球。约翰基尤其受到孩子们的喜爱，人们经常在各年龄层的儿童活动中见到他的身影。
We know that you have been living a sweet married life. Your wife and you went to the same high school. The love journey between you two must be pure and romantic. Would you please share with us?
Yeah, well, I'm sure she sees it that way, having been married to me for 26 years now. So, no, I'm very lucky. We got together when we first met when I was about 17, and I think my wife was 15. So we've been married now for a very long time. We have 2 children. So I'm very lucky. She's very supportive of me, and she's come on this trip actually. She's in Shanghai. She likes China, so she's brought the children with her, and they are out shopping, so they will no doubt be promoting the Chinese economy.
Women love to do that.
Unfortunately, she's got my credit card, and she's having a wonderful time. I haven't heard from her for the last couple of hours, so she's busy buying things, I think.
So she'll leave you alone.
Absolutely, she'll leave me alone. Yeah. She'll give me the bill later on tonight.
We learned that you enjoy cooking, right?
I like cooking. Yeah.
Do you cook some special meals for your wife or for your family?
I do when I'm home. I'm busy, obviously, a lot, but yeah, we cook a lot. I cook a lot of different meals. I like cooking beef stroganoff as a sort of bit of a specialty. I like cooking a range of New Zealand meals. I used to cook a little bit of Chinese food actually. Well, I tried once to cook. Some very famous. When we lived in Singapore for a year, I used to try and cook pepper crab and chili crab at home. That's not easy to make in your own home. But if you're the Szechuan dishes, I don't think I can make Peking duck. But we had some wonderful Peking duck last night, but I'm not sure I can make it myself.
Yeah. We learned that your favorite sport is golf and rugby. I think rugby is very, very popular in New Zealand. Do you think you are a master sportsman?
Not a master rugby player, but I would certainly enjoy watching it. And I've been patron actually to the All Whites campaign where they went to South Africa, so they've had a wonderful time. I like playing golf. After politics, I'm going to play a lot more golf. And there's some beautiful golf courses in New Zealand, and it's quite cheap actually to play. So post-politics, I'm going to play and get my handicap down to single figures.
Now this time you went to the South Africa
Yeah.
to to watch the match. How do you feel?
Unbelievable to be there. We were ranked 78th in the world, so no one could believe we were going to the World Cup, and in the end we didn't lose a game there. The game I went and watched was in Nelspruit, which is by Kruger National Park, so we drew with Italy 1-1, and in fact we were very unlucky to lose, so yeah, it was a great opportunity, and yeah, for New Zealand we're very proud of our team, and we hope they can work hard and get back in 4 years' time.
Do you think maybe a New Zealand team will be better in the future?
Yeah, they'll definitely be better. I think their ranking will go up. I mean, they've just had such great results not to lose a game there that I'm sure they'll be ranked higher than 78 pretty soon.
约翰基为推广国家旅游做了很多新的尝试，比如他曾登上美国著名电视脱口秀，亲自大力吆喝，用幽默的表达方式告诉观众不得不去新西兰的10大理由，博得满堂彩。
Wait a minute. Leonard's on at 9 o'clock.
Would you please use 5 key words to recommend and to describe your country as you did in the David Letterman show?
Yeah, well, I think it's beautiful. It's a beautiful country. It's prosperous because it's doing extremely well. It's an exciting place to go. We have lots of tourism. It's friendly and welcoming. You know, people love coming to New Zealand, and most of all, it's clean, and it's a very beautiful country with a great environment. So we absolutely encourage everyone to come and see us and to sample New Zealand and to have an experience that so many New Zealanders probably don't even understand. It's as good as it's our little bit of paradise in the bottom of the South Pacific.
Can you pick up some Mandarin or Shanghai dialect?
Shanghai dialect maybe not so good, but Ni Min Hao and Xie for having me on the show. So thank you very much. And yeah, maybe in time I'm going to have to learn a little bit more. I do know Gong Xi Fa Chai, so have a happy new year. Yeah.
Would you please learn some Shanghai dialect?
Okay, if you can teach me some.
I teach you. Okay. 大家好。
大家好。
新西兰老好白相。
新西兰 was last.
新西兰。
新西兰
老好白相。
老好白相。
Okay, thank you very much.
谢谢，thank you so much. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.